All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Exposure Runs, the podcast. I'm your host, Mustafa. We got another guest up here from Bloom High School, currently at Toledo University. I'm going to read off a couple things just to kind of give the proper introduction for you. I feel like you need that proper introduction so that people know who you are. All right, ready? Yeah. So first I'm going to start with, you graduated as a 4.0 student.
Yeah.
All right. So just so you know, I do my homework on these. All right?
Okay.
I want y'all to know I take this shit seriously.
Okay.
All right. 4.0 student when you graduated. Played with, arguably, and you can argue amongst yourselves, you can argue with your mother, you can argue with your grandmother, arguably the best team in Bloom history with Keyshawn Williams, Martise Mitchell, Christian Shoemate, Donovan Newby, and yourself. That's a fucking whip that could go against any Bloom players in the history of that high school. Mm-hmm. I'm going to assume you'll take y'all on top.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Nah. Yeah.
All right. Earned all state honors as a senior. First team all area. First team all Pontiac. Finished third, which I did not know this. Finished third in the Illinois Mr. Basketball. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's decent. That's decent.
That's cool.
That's decent. For your freshman year, you went to your first 2 years, right? Yep. You went to Cal State Fullerton. Finished second as a freshman on the team in scoring. Yeah. As well as second in 3-point percentage. Yeah. 10th in the nation at 89.8 free throw percentage. Yeah. So we're just gonna go ahead because like in most math classes, we're just gonna round that motherfucker up to 90. Yeah. All right, so 90% free throw. Started 9 games, career high 22 points. Then you transferred to Toledo, only to go then lead the MAC conference in 3-point percentage at 45%, 4th on the team in points, and started 29 of 30 games. You just said, fuck it, you just gonna get somebody else that 30th game?
It just happened that way. Okay,
no worries. Yeah. 29 out of 30 games as a sophomore. You started. And you was killing. When I tell you, when y'all games come on and they came on the TV, me and Zay was watching them bitches front row. And I had my phone set on ESPN. And I think it was Bleacher Report, I always had my phone set to send me the end game so I can look at your stats and share. Me and Zay, we was following you heavy, cuz.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Welcome Mr. Dante Maddox Jr. to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, man.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Feeling good.
Before we jump into these questions, I just want to ask you, what is your thoughts on just our platform, like the Exposure Runs platform, when you first came to kind of know about it, and you and your dad, you have always been a supporter. And then I'm gonna tell you a story about when I was this kid is all right, man.
First, I feel like I kind of seen the Exposure just runs the platform kind of grow from the beginning, like the first when the run started, and I seen you guys, all the players would come in, and I was in school. It was around my first year. I feel like it was the COVID era kind of.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That COVID era. So
2020.
Yep. So I would just kind of be watching from afar, and I always paid attention to you and Zay because I love genuine people, and y'all great people. Great people at heart always. So I always wanted to see Zay go ahead and be successful, and just wanted to see him accomplish his dreams as well and everything. So just seeing how much it's grown from the beginning and now has been amazing, man. It's really been it's been eye-opening. I've enjoyed every part of it, to now seeing y'all even grow more and start the podcast this and seeing that grow, and y'all doing your thing. You doing your thing, man.
I appreciate it. So two things. Number one is, I remember when right around we did the first runs, it was at my wife's school. That's where y'all was coming down when we were the only gym open. Yeah. And we was getting that workout. Yeah. And so initially we had Dave down there was working out, Zay and Diggy. Yeah. And then I believe your pop got wind either through Eric or myself. I forgot how it panned out, but your dad reached out. And your dad prior to that was like a mythical figure, it's like Coach Dante Maddox, right? Because he had that dope ass team, and then when he hit me up, hey, I want to bring Dante, hell yeah, you can come bring him. So you came down to the gym, And the thing that I remember the most, and when I really kind of like, yo, Dante, he is all right, is you really took Diggy and Zay under your wing in those workouts, like just kind of laying the groundwork of how hard you worked as a you were getting ready to go into your freshman year, and you were like, y'all was that, first of all, that gym, that floor was crazy.
Yeah.
But you was in there work, bro. I mean, dripping sweat like a pro, and you were like about to be a freshman in college. And so that really, I really appreciated you kind of like giving a visual to them as young guys to kind of seeing like this is how I go. So follow my speed, but this is the type of work that it's going to take. And so then the second time is when I reached out to you to ask you to coach with me in the pro-am joint.
Yeah,
that shit was popping.
That
shit
was
popping. Yeah,
that was lit.
I just really appreciate you and your dad. And every time we came around to Matson and y'all was working out, y'all always call Zay or Diggy or any of the young guys over to come work out with y'all. And I loved seeing how your dad always had like a routine, putting you through certain things and like your shooting ability. I just always thought that shit was dope. And I just really fuck with men who are like really good fathers. And your dad is at the top of that list of mentors for me, just from a fatherhood perspective. Like, coaching, that ain't my thing, but it is what it is. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you for being here.
No doubt.
We talked about Bloom. Talk about that Bloom super team. What was it like playing with those guys? All by the way, all of them went on Division I scholarship.
Yeah.
Off the starting five played Division I basketball.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
It was looking back on it, it was really, I'm gonna just start saying, it was a humbling experience, because it's something that like you almost take for granted, like thinking about it beforehand and afterhand, like, because one, my dad's been a coach. He's been a coach at Bloom in some way, freshman, sophomore, varsity. He didn't coach at all three levels since I was probably about 2 or 3 years old.
Oh, wow, okay.
He's been coaching in the Bloom district. He went there. He's been coaching there since I can remember.
Okay.
And as I've grown up, I've seen most teams throughout the 2000s era. I can see, and for the most part, I got some type of memory of them.
Okay.
But when you're young, you can't really compartmentalize how good people are. You just know, like, okay, this is supposed to be the best player, or these guys is good, they can dunk. Like, you're a kid.
You're a kid.
So as I get older and I start to get into high school and start to realize that, okay, like I'm talking about this core group, me, Donovan, Keyshawn, Martise, like we all, them four in particular, and obviously Christian came later, but we got this talent, this group of talent that's in-house.
Y'all good.
And we good.
Y'all good.
But like, really good.
Right.
Like, usually you got a couple that's good here.
But y'all
like,
good.
We realized we had something young.
Right.
That like wasn't just like normal. And we took a lot of heat for that. Like Bloom, one thing about Bloom people don't understand, Bloom fans and parents, they gonna let you know how they feeling at all time. There's no holding back. There's no, you're gonna know. You're gonna know. So early on with that Bloom team, we got a lot of flack. My dad got a lot of flack for putting us up on varsity.
From the parents.
Oh man. People don't even know that, like, people was kind of like boycotting our games. Ask anybody else. Our sophomore year in particular. Our freshman year, we had a real good senior group.
Okay.
Like Austin Ritchie, who went on to play Division I, and we had a really good team.
Okay.
Also that senior year. But after that group left, it was like a gap from like 2018 and 19 and 20. 20 was the sophomore group, and that's when he went and he had us all start. Like,
so y'all was on some Fab Five Michigan type shit.
Man, but like the thing is, we weren't like overly great. Like, we were talented, but we were young. I'll never forget. We played in the Thanksgiving tournament my sophomore year, and that was one of Hillcrest and Coach Houston's best teams.
Got you.
We got smacked by 30.
Damn.
30 ball. I remember, because I'll never forget that game. That was the craziest game I ever been a part. We got smacked by 30, and it was me and Keyshawn, because Don had just got hurt, so he was watching. And I remember we came back in the locker room that game, and we was like, We got a little ways to go, man.
Was the parents on that? I told y'all those motherfuckers wasn't that good.
Oh my God!
I know that they was. What? Coach Dante don't know what the fuck he doing.
We got these
goddamn sophomores.
These classes. We got my son better than right now. In class of the senior class, and in reality,
was the players on the team like that too? That was under, like that was over y'all, but under y'all.
So it was supposed to be a couple people mixed in who could have made the team. They was like, nah, man, we ain't doing this. Like, either they quit, they left.
Oh wow!
Because a lot of the players was like, okay, like I want to play with my homies, with my friends.
Right.
We got these little 14, 15-year-old kids coming in playing with. I'm not doing this. So people ended up leaving.
Sounds like they did to y'all with fucking nut ass. What was the Carlos Boozer and all them did to LeBron when he first came?
Yeah, like
Smush Parker.
Man, like in reality, like in that group, in reality, they weren't better than us.
Right.
It's the fact that they weren't better than us, and we like 3 years younger than y'all.
So your dad's gonna get more time.
Yeah. So we was like we gonna struggle maybe a little bit because we probably was the talent wasn't overly. We was gonna struggle a little bit anyway, regardless.
Right.
I'd rather get them the experience, have them up there now.
As with any coach would.
Yeah. With the plan to figure it out, and by the second half of the year, we ended up winning like 11 out of our last 12 games, something like that.
Right.
So we ended up being like 16 and 12, 16 and 13.
Okay.
But we started off rough. But we kind of turned it around. Like that sophomore year, the junior year, that's when it started clicking. And we ended up.
Y'all was rolling.
We was rolling. Our junior year was.
I remember I saw y'all first play. Down at Mount Carmel.
Yep. When we played Morgan Park.
Yes. That game was. So here's the crazy thing. Me and Zay was coming back from somewhere I can't remember, and I knew that's all everybody talking about. Hey, we going down, and I'm like, come on, Zay, let me take you down. I want you to see this. I want you to experience it. And initially, he ain't really want to go. Zay was like, I'm like, no, we going. That shit was crazy.
That game was crazy. The atmosphere and everything.
Yeah, that game was crazy.
We went up there, and that was everybody was saying that like, oh, like they good, but like Morgan Park and sitting like that level. Chicago basketball, that's the pinnacle. That's usually the top, and it's usually nobody who can kind of mess with them. And now you got these kids are from Chicago Heights coming out there, and it's like. We was a real deal. Y'all had a good ass fucking team. We did.
And it's crazy too because as I'm watching y'all progress, now keep in mind, y'all doing that and Diggy, Rayshawn, Lier, and Zay is over at Colin Powell.
Yep, they at Colin Powell.
Killing.
Yep. I already
know. Killing.
I'm
watching y'all in high school like, oh shit. Okay, we got something, right? So I'm trying to get with Eric. I'm trying to get with Ray Mom and his people, with CC and Big Lier, and of course me. I'm like, what high school we sending them to?
That's the first time I heard about your son. I'll never forget, because my dad was telling me, he was like, oh, like Colin Powell, because this one, my dad, he try to be like, he don't really try to pay attention, but people always try to come to him with the what's coming up, the next wave. Like the next wave of players since the junior high school. Like, oh yeah, like you would be hearing like, oh yeah, like Parker got a crazy team, or James Hart, or there's some kids over there. He'll just hear, and they'll be like, we should go. Like every blue moon, he might get a time, a day where our schedules line up. Like, let's go catch a game. In high school, we might not practice. Like, we'll go catch a game. We go and we watch Colin Powell, and we watch. And I seen all these kids that I seen at Madison, at the rec, whatever, and they playing. And the first time they was like, man, this the one I really didn't know. I didn't know Zay like I knew Diggy, I knew Rayshawn. I knew Rayshawn because he got family that was at Bloom at the time.
Okay,
so it like I knew all them.
Got you.
And Lier too. They was like, hey, it's this kid over there. He dunking 7th, 8th grade. Oh man. All right. Okay. Like, my dad like, no, I'm for real. Like, he throwing down. I'm like, okay, like cool. Man, I seen him, and literally in the first time I watched him play, I'm like, okay, this kid is actually an elite athlete, early.
I don't know where he get that shit from. Yeah, because it's not
crazy. Like even when we were working out and stuff, and I'm seeing, I'm like, this kid, like, what was he going into? What grade was he going into?
He was about to go to his freshman year. He was about to go to his freshman year, and then y'all had those. When y'all was working out, then y'all would do the little dunk contest after the game. Zay is mimicking damn near every dunk you're doing.
And I'm like, I can't. My stuff don't look like that, man. He got something. I don't got that. Like that was 1 foot. He over here. I'm like, I couldn't. I might have been barely touching the rim.
Zay, I really don't know where he like. It's not. I'm not bushing. I tell people all the time like he didn't get that from me at all. Like I wasn't athletic in basketball. I was decent. No, matter of fact, I wasn't even. I was okay. I knew my role. Yeah. Football, I was a fucking beast in football. Yeah. But that athleticism, like it skipped my dad for sure because he was a little fucking whatever. But the athleticism, he got that from my wife's dad. Like, and unfortunately, we never got a chance to meet him because he passed away before Celeste was born. But I don't know where he get that shit from because I promise you it's not me. Cause I promise you it's not me. Playing at Bloom, what was it like being coached by your dad? Like what was that like?
I say the most bitter, sweet.
Okay.
Like the most, like take the extreme of both.
The extreme of both. That's actually a pretty decent
great answer. And terrible.
Okay, and that's fair. And I think your dad will respect that answer too.
Oh yeah, I don't even care if he would. You know, he would tell you. He would probably give you a relative around the same answer. Okay. He'd be like,
do you feel like he was harder on you at times?
Not at times. Okay. All the time.
Okay.
It was like I ain't gonna lie. Funny, we gonna talk about my dad because my dad I feel like in the community is somebody who's pretty well respected as a great dude.
A great dude.
Great dude, and he is. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my dad, man. Singer, man. He really is a great dude. But when it came to them practices, and when you came to them 2-hour practices in between them lines, if you was on my team, you was gonna lose. If you was on my team, you was gonna run. If you had anything to do with me, I was gonna be made the example. If the energy wasn't there,
it's your fault.
It's my fault. If we playing around too much,
it's your fault.
It's my fault.
If you're not shooting well, it's your fault.
It's all my fault. Like it was for the most part. Like we'll be practicing, we'll be like, man, that ain't fair. Like the other team got to they messed up on defense, but you let it slide. But like whatever, if you on my team, it's not.
When did that become a moment where you had to tell your guys like, yo, we just gonna accept that shit?
Listen,
or did they just?
It gave us a mental toughness, all of us. Mm-hmm. Like it's a mental toughness that I have to this day, in terms of dealing like with any coach that I deal with.
None of them was worse.
What? It's my dad. Like, and the thing is, you get it all the time. Mm-hmm. This ain't like no like okay, I got this 2 hours of dealing with him and then it's over with.
You got home.
Like, all right, what? Oh no, he let's go to school. Wake up. All right. I got classes. I got school. He probably asking me if something not adding up. He asked me like, "What's going on? What's going on with this class? You making sure you on your square with your? That's his favorite. You on your square with your work, with your whatever." And after that, we got practice. We probably staying after and shooting after. We putting in some extra work after practice for sure. So then we go home. So imagine a bad day. A bad day, man. He wake me up, we already in the mood. We don't even want to talk to each other. You come to school, we might work out before. I'm talking about it might linger over depending on how bad it is, it's gonna linger over from the day before. We really got into it, or say it was a game and the game didn't go well. The sophomore year games, man, rough patches. I'm frustrated with him or whatever, or my freshman year even because he was not playing me my freshman year.
Word.
What? We had a good team. Oh no, that's what I'm saying. At times you would think like, okay, to his son, like he kind of bogus. Like he kind of bogus because my freshman year, I'll never forget. It was a time when I think we was playing Richie's. We was playing it, and we ended up smacking them. We had a real good team. We was up 35. I'm talking about 35, like by halftime. Me and the guys were like, okay, you know what I'm saying. The only one out of the my freshman who was playing was Donovan Newby.
Okay,
and he was really good.
He was always wise guard.
Yeah. Like we needed that, and he was that for sure. So he was the one who played. Me and Keyshawn did not play. Did not play. But somebody had to play. Keyshawn was gonna play for sure before me.
Right.
It got to the point where okay, that game go on, we winning. I'm like, okay, third quarter, we still up 30. We almost scored 100 points.
And he still didn't put you in?
I did not play that game.
How often did Mrs. Maddox have to step in?
And that's the day. What? I know my mom. I never get. My mom was like, "Listen, I know you got a lot. Just a lot on your plate. It's tough, you know, having your. But you're not about to sit up here and do my baby.
You're not gonna do my baby like that.
Not like this.
Not like that.
Not like this. Not like this.
If you know better,
yeah,
you better not play my baby like that.
This, because she really would stay out. She was really our median.
Right.
At nights when stuff. And she would be the one who, if we really got into it, she'll be the one that kind of, she like the safe haven.
For the both of y'all.
For the both of us.
Yeah. Like not here.
Man, I don't know what I would do if my mom wasn't there. Like, it would, like, we really used to get into it sometimes, man.
Oh, wow.
But, like, with that being said, now on the back end, our relationship is so much better.
I see it, and I saw it then too. And I knew your dad was tough on you, but I saw it. How difficult do you think it was for the both of y'all to turn off dad versus coach?
Terrible. It was all one.
It was all one.
So bad. Now, I'm really seeing dad now.
Okay.
My dad, like, it's weird. It's weird to see because early on, I couldn't even see it that much because COVID. So, being in California, I'm on the other side of the country with COVID, and he coaches at the same time my season is.
Right. You missed that?
We missed that, for sure. So, like, really coming to Toledo, the first game coming in Toledo, it was one of the best moments of my basketball career. My whole family was there. My dad never came to any games. The only game he came to California was when we went to the tournament. That's it.
Okay.
And I ain't played at that. I ain't play for real. So that's it.
So it felt good.
So
family there.
When we played that first game against Valpo at Toledo, my dad came down. They got their custom made jerseys, their Toledo jerseys with Maddox Jr. on the back.
I can't wait to do. I can't. And you know, Zay is 21 too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh. Really?
Yeah. I can't wait to get a jersey with his name on the back, cuz
it's surreal, like seeing. And I go back, and sometimes we'll see a game. I might watch the film, and I might watch just to look up, and I see my dad up there cheering. He really cheering. And it's not a coach. It's not a coach. It's not like, oh yeah, he did something good, but let me hold my emotion.
Yeah. But he out there. He letting it all out.
Like if I go this year and I playing at some point, I go and I dunk somebody or something crazy happen, he gonna be the one. He gonna be really cheering. And that was something that I hold very special because I ain't really get to see that
right
in high school.
So when you see it, it's kind of like you know.
I internalize it. I keep it.
Yeah.
And it's something that it's very special to me for sure.
That's great. How did the relationship coach dad relationship, dad coach relationship prepare you? You spoke about it just a little bit. How did that prepare you for college, especially when you went to Cal and then now that you're at the Toledo? How has that prepared you?
I think it helped prepare me on the court, but I think when it comes to stuff like this, as a man, getting the stuff as a man, it translates. It translates to sports as well. And my dad was somebody who's he's very big on morals, very big on consistency. He's very big on discipline. Very disciplined man. Like my dad, wake up, he'll work out in the morning or whatever, or we'll motivate him with me and my little sister, whatever he see us working. If he feel like he ain't been on it, like he gonna call us, be like, man, y'all been on my motivation to work out, to do something. So like when it comes to school and being away, I really had to depend on what I know, and what I know is what he taught me. Like in terms of things not going your way, which I'm very used to that. Like he always made things not go my way, in them practices.
Right.
Continue to figure it out. Continue to persevere, to prevail, to work hard, no matter what the outcome is. It's like he big on the journey. He's big on like no matter what the outcome you can't control. It might work out your way, it might not. But as long as you put the work in, put all you had into it,
like you can live with the result.
And
Which leads me to my next question. Like and you don't have to speak good or badly about your experience at Cal, but how did that relationship with your dad and the things that he planted, those seeds that he planted, how did that help you navigate through that tough time out there? And you didn't even have them. You were out there
I was out there by myself.
Right.
Like I didn't, like my family couldn't come visit like that.
How did that help?
I feel like my experience at Cal was, I'll say it was a lot of trials for sure.
Okay.
It was a trial time for me for sure. And I really had to depend on my foundation, even though that they weren't really there. So it made it tough. But one thing he always told me was like, this is obviously life lessons when it comes to being injured, when it comes to not playing, when it comes to things not going the way that they were quote unquote supposed to, and it's a lot of stuff that's out of your control. And he always was big on making sure like this, not even for now, this is stuff that's gonna prepare you, and it's gonna come back in the long run. Even though things aren't, he was real big on being like a professional. This is something that might happen in your professional career, whether that's your job, whether that's with ball, things not going right, still being a great teammate. You not playing, you supposed to play, but you don't play. Still being on that bench cheering, still being on that bench loud as if they would cheer for you. And even with all that being said, still being in the gym, still putting the extra work in, still getting up extra shots. Even though the light right now is not bright, but still doing all the foundational things that got you there, because that's what you fall back and depend on.
You do. Right.
Yeah, so I look at that, and I look at those experiences, and I try to use it, and I feel like it's prepared me for what's to come. For even my first year at Toledo and what's to come in terms of this year. So,
do you think real quick, if your family happened to have been out there in California with you, do you think that situation would have been better, or do you think your path would have still been the same?
I think it would have probably been the same, but I think I wouldn't have been as mentally prepared as a man. I think those trials and tribulations is what really prepare you and build you as a man to. So I feel like I had to get away. Me personally, I had to get away. It was meant for me to go on the other side of the country, go through what I was going through, being able to persevere through it. And I can't say that I'm not a stronger person, individual after the fact, which I am. So I think if they were there, I still would have went through the same thing. But maybe I wouldn't have been who I am as I am right now.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Tell us about your welcome to college moment on the court and off the court. What was those two moments like? Like welcome to college, freshman.
Like welcome to college, like you said, on the court and
off the court.
I say my beginning, my welcome to college kind of happened later because COVID was crazy, especially where I was at in Orange County. It was California. It was going crazy. We couldn't even walk outside. So it happened a little later. I'll tell you about my first experience, basketball wise. It happened. We missed the whole preseason, so you got your non-conference. Missed the whole non-conference. Other teams in the conference was playing. We missed the whole non-conference, and then our first conference game was against the future Big West champions, and they went to the tournament. And had an NBA player as well on that team. They were really, really good. This is the best that the Big West has to offer. Got you. And at that point in time, we was playing back to back. Like the games, like you go, you play them once, and then the next day you come back and you play them again. So the first time, my first college game, it was okay. Like I was like, okay, I'm feeling it out. We ain't really been practicing a lot, so you just trying to feel it out. Okay. And then I remember after that game, I said, because I didn't really shoot too much. Like it was just like one of them games where you really was feeling it out.
You just was feeling the game out.
And I'm like, Dad, I ain't gonna lie to you. I can really do this. Like I can really I feel it. Like obviously this first game I was feeling it out, and I started getting going late. But then we came back that next day. And I remember I came out I had 20 that game. And that's when I was like, man, I can do this. This level,
this sweet.
I'm like, man, I came out on this West Coast, man.
They not ready for this Chi-Town shit. I'm about to get these motherfuckers business. Y'all don't even know. I'm about to get y'all the business.
That's exactly how I felt.
Okay.
Like, that's how I felt.
What about your off the court?
I'll say probably like your first social experiences on college was first.
I remember mine. I remember mine, and I remember who it was with. Hi, Andrea.
My first social experience was just being with my roommate. Shout out my guy Jalen Harris, man. We used to really go out, and because it was COVID at times, it was tough. But when it started to die down, we used to have to kind of create our own functions and everything.
Right.
Fun times, man. We had good times.
So let me ask you this: whoever coined the phrase "college is the best years of your life," they know what they're talking about. They know. Okay, we go. Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
They know.
cool.
They know.
Okay. They know. All right. Cool. How much have you changed maturity wise from high school to college?
Man, a lot.
On a scale of 1 to 10. And
Probably,
if you need to go past that, then do it.
Nah, change. We talking about like physical, like, or just both?
Both mentally and physically.
10. Easy 10. Past that if I could go.
Okay.
You just know, like, you really mature a lot. Quick. But it's happening all so fast. So, like, you just in the moment, it's like, okay, I'm starting to deal with this, but you don't really take time to really be able to
process it.
What's really going on.
Right.
Until you come back home. Until you come back home and get back in like the same environments and get around
the same people doing the same shit, which is nothing.
Like, yeah, and you like, man, like I've actually
way outgrown.
Yeah,
I've lost a lot of friends from high school to college, and I've lost a lot of friends from college, like just to the real world. And you're gonna lose more too from college.
Yes, for sure.
So
for sure.
No, that's
crazy, but that's the truth, man. You really see like, okay, but then there's also motivation. It's like, okay, I got to keep going. I'm on the right path. Like I got to keep going, and like I got to go, and it's a whole world to see. Like that's one thing about playing this ball, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ball, it takes you all over the. It take you all over the world, and you see a lot of these young guys is like overseas and in college they playing in different countries right now and all of that.
Yeah.
Just know that the algorithm is set up like you're not done. Like you're not done shedding these these experiences. The more you are in college, the more experience you get. And then as the great thing about it is, and I hate to say as you're losing people, but you're going to gain people too. You're going to gain people later in life who are so close to you that you like, how motherfucker I known for since 8th grade. Yeah. Like we ain't even like, I got people that I'm still cool with them, but I don't talk to them. Like I'm probably, just to give you an example, I'm probably cool. Like I have a better relationship right now with Eric Tillery than I do I can think of 3 people that I could literally name if I wanted to. I went to a middle school called R.S. Walton. I still remember him. And then I eventually went to a military school where I lived there at Scotland School for Veteran Children. So like I can think of 3 people off the back that I'm closer with Eric Tillery now. And these were my guys growing up. My guys. And there's no diss to them. It's just like we've just kind of outgrown each other. Our lives just took different paths. Yeah. That's going to happen more for you. Just FYI, just to let you know. Yeah. What is the biggest challenge? And I'm my next question after this. But what is the biggest challenge that Xavier, Day, Bryce, Rayshawn, Lier, Ahmad will have to adjusting to college?
First off, shout out to all them, man. Them all the people you name was like people who I look at as real little brothers. Like I really do. And
I'm speaking for all of them, but I'm especially speaking for my son. They look at you as a big brother. Like best believe that. Yeah. Best believe that.
And I really, first and foremost, I really want them to be the best basketball players. But I hope it all, and at the end, works out the way it's supposed to, and they continue to grow, and their basketball journey takes them to the highest of heights, the highest of heights. But I'll say, what they need to know is that it's exactly that. This college thing is a journey. It's a journey. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs, a lot of behind the scenes that people don't think, or they can't pay attention to. It's like with anything. With basketball, you see the greatest players playing the NBA. All you really see for the most part is the end result, what they do on the court. Not all the behind the scenes that come with it, the work they put in. But now we talking about, this ain't high school, it's a business. This is a business. So the behind the scenes to the business aspect is something that you have to, you're never going to be prepared for it until it happens, because you don't know how it's going to happen.
Because you don't know how,
But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And this is where the discipline, the mental toughness, all of that comes into play, because it's going to be a situation where things ain't going to line up like how it's supposed to. But you still got to be able to do all that, to whoever it's playing time, whatever it is, outside stuff, whether you might not really rock with your teammates, whether you not really rock with your coach, like all that is stuff that genuinely happens. But you still got to go out on that court and try your best to produce and play.
Because none of that other shit matters when it comes time to the game and practice.
Yeah, it don't.
You'll notice, which I think you did, you'll notice that all of those names I named, they're all playing at different levels.
Yeah.
From Division I, Division II, NAIA, some going to JUCO route. Does the level that they're playing at matter for their preparation and their adjustment?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
The preparation stay the same.
Okay.
Preparation stays the same. You should have the same preparation no matter what level you're going to, because at the end of the day, it's a round ball that you shoot and put in the rim. That don't change. That don't change no matter what level you in. It's still a 10-foot goal. Like
the points are the same.
All of it the same. Mm-hmm. Only thing that might change is the variables. The variables might be the size, the height, but the constants are the constants. You know what I'm saying? You shoot a three.
Our guy Jeremiah Williams was up here where he said something that I loved. He said, "Keep the main thing the main thing."
That's my guy too. Jeremiah, great people, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Jeremiah.
Shout out J. Will, man.
Yeah, he said, "Keep the main thing the main thing, and everything else will work itself out."
It's all, man.
You spoke about, and I'm jumping back up, you spoke about your, just kind of speak a little bit rather about your work ethic, like what goes into that, because I've seen you in the gym. You also talked about the behind the scenes shit that a lot of people don't see. Like, all right, every now and then you'll post a clip of you working out in the gym, but like you are fucking working. I just recently seen some shit where you was down at the beach on the sand and doing all that other shit. Like, talk about your work ethic, man.
Man, like, I feel like that's really all I know. Like, this is like the stock that I was born from. It's like Maddox men, Maddox and Johnson men. My mama's side, they just hard working people, super hard working people. So that's really all like I've been ingrained to do, is to really work. When things don't go right or go away, it's the work ethic. I don't think everybody who knows me, like on a personal level, knows that I am a very hard worker when it comes to basketball, when it comes to something that I'm passionate about.
Right.
So, I feel like still like I'm continuing to work for my goals, and every goal that I'm working for, I got lofty dreams. I got dreams of playing on the biggest stage.
Of course.
And I know that I feel like it's a possibility. And I'll say that I know, even if nobody know, even if it's not posted, because I'm not the biggest on posting all what I do on social media. You know, that ain't really my thing. But just know that every day that I'm working on taking steps towards that in some way, towards that dream. And I feel like I know that I'm gonna make it happen.
I'm looking forward to seeing that, you know, over the last 3 or 4, you know, drafts, whatever, like they've put a huge premium on fathers. So I'm looking forward to you getting your moment. Like, your mom's gonna get her moment regardless.
Oh yeah.
OG gonna get her moment. She gonna get her moment, right? But I'm looking forward to you having that moment with your dad. That's gonna be a phenomenal moment to see. And it's even gonna be more phenomenal for me to see. Number one is because your dad and you have always made it for me and Xavier as people that we can literally reach out and touch. I can literally reach out and call. I can literally reach out and get advice from. So that's going to be even more special to watch that moment for me. So can you talk about the importance of nutrition and eating in college? Like, how important is that? How the Flaming Hots and all that, like your diet in college versus your diet in high school, kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, man, I definitely go towards the discipline, especially because at times, and especially because we were just talking about those guys who all playing at different levels. So one thing that they're not gonna tell you is one thing: the income gonna be a little different for sure at each one of them levels. The income, college is college. So sometimes trying to figure out how to, you might be living on that college budget, you know what I'm saying, and still being able to still get the nutrition, the proteins, all the stuff you need. Like, I understand it can be tough at times. Like, I'm gonna be the first one. It can be tough. Because you might not even because you don't want, it could be tough because you might not want to eat healthy. Nobody, like, especially young, you don't want to eat healthy. But it's like, okay,
you might not be able to.
You might not be able to. And that's still being able to do things. I remember, like, in my college experience, I used to go on periods where I tried to eat healthy. I used to eat a lot of fruits. Go get fruits, go get vegetables, and try to find a friend. That's one thing. Oh, my people were so big on trying to get me to get a nice cooked meal. Like, find a friend like Dante, please. My dad be like, if you can, some of you network, you know all these people, find somebody who can cook. And if it come down to it, if you can, you bless them, give them a little something, just have them cook you a nice little healthy meal, whatever. But it's important. For me, it's important because I know one year in particular, like when I first got to college, I was lifting and I gained a lot of weight kind of fast. Like you gain kind of muscle because you go from me not really lifting and then you start lifting a little more. So
right.
I started picking up weight fast. And I think my first year I was playing at almost like 205-ish. Which right now I'll probably play at like the 195, 197
so
range.
You pay attention to that.
Yeah, it matters, man. How you feel like playing, like it's almost like, boxing weight class. Okay. You don't think too much about it because like fighting at 135, fighting at 147, like it's a difference.
Okay.
I look at it like that too. So for me, at least for me, learning your body over the time in college, one thing you for sure will. High school, you young, you really get to just do whatever you want to. You hop out, put your shoes on, and play. And
not in college.
Not in college. I promise you, in college,
stretching, nutrition,
you gotta stretch.
Yeah.
You gotta recovery. Recovery is huge.
Ooh.
If you don't like that ice bath, you gotta try to get in there nice.
Yo, true story. So after Xavier got injured, right?
Yeah.
Initially we thought it was a hyperextend. Well, not thought it was. He hyperextended his knee against Evergreen Park December the 8th, and the whole moment is ingrained in my brain. And we got home. We kind of we didn't take him right away. Blah blah blah. So we went out and got him a bunch of ice. Tried to put him in the ice bath in the tub. He bitched out the whole time.
Man,
he bitched out the whole time.
I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I promise you.
Is it that bad?
It's bad, man. For me, I hate it. It's not too many people. I promise. My dad come on here, ask him about me and ice bath.
Okay.
It's terrible.
It's terrible?
It's terrible. But
it's important.
It's important. You got to do it. Some for either that, if you can't get into like the cryo, people
the cryo. Yeah. Now is that an equal supplement?
Easily.
Because I've been wanting to take Zay to the cryo because there's one in Homewood. I think.
Yep.
Excuse me. I've been wanting to take him to one.
Man, you leave.
But the ice baths they're that bad.
It's tough, man.
Is it?
It's tough. You should try one. Is it?
Okay, maybe I will. We'll see.
They don't sound too good.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I'm not injured. I don't know what I'm saying.
You say you're not playing no more.
I'm not playing no more. My playing days is over. Yeah. But what is the benefits to the ice bath? What is it recovering?
I know it like helps like the blood flow. So when the blood flows back through your body, it helps you recover fast.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah.
If you want to gloss this, we can gloss this. But why did you leave Cal State?
I left Cal State because one, I feel like the perks and benefits of being at the school wasn't balancing out from the stuff that I need. The stuff that I needed.
Okay, fair.
I feel like one of the big things that I wanted and fiend for at that point in time is family support, and my family, my actual literal family, was not able to be there as much. My mom worked a lot. My dad got a similar season schedule as I do. Mm-hmm. My sister getting older, so they start trying to go with her, and she played volleyball and stuff.
Right.
So it was at a point, I was at a weird place, and like I feel like I needed, I could have used some family-like people to be around me. And like I said, college a lot of times is a business, so it wasn't always like that.
Right.
So it wasn't. So I found myself really learning a lot about myself by being alone a lot. You know what I'm saying? You learn a lot about yourself in times like that. And then especially because I ended up getting injured. I ended up getting my teeth knocked out. Had to get surgery on like my jaw and get stitches all in there. And that kind of put a pause on my basketball. And like we all there. We're student athletes, but we're there to play basketball. I'm in California because I play ball. Right. So when that took a break and I had to really sit back
and start seeing stuff, and I'm like, man, like, I feel like I can, if I'm gonna go through all of the trials and stuff I'm going through, I can do that and at least have my parents come to the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna at least have be closer to home. So like, I found an opportunity in the University of Toledo that I feel like
was like a win-win.
Right, because they was recruiting you prior.
They was recruiting me prior, and then they also is traditionally a very good team in major level. Like they really have a lot of success. Had NBA players, very successful pros. And I got the opportunity coming off. They just won 26 games,
right?
26-8, and they just had somebody get drafted to the Warriors. And I'm like, I got this opportunity to come closer to home. My people get to come watch me play, and on top of that, it's on the up and up. Like Toledo, it's an upswing at Toledo right now. It's a great time to be a Rocket.
Like, and by the way, I don't know if you peep when I posted your story. You see my little thing in the corner?
Oh yeah.
They got my man on the calendar now. He big time up that motherfucker, bro.
I'm trying,
I see you. Motherfucker got the fireman candle. He was sitting there like, you see, I saw it. That shit was righteous. You talked about the transferring. So you know that's a hot topic. The transfer portal in college, and of course the transfer portal in high school, right? You said something that I think people needed to hear, and that I want to touch on. That's kind of profound. You hear we'll call them what's the terminology? The Sunday morning quarterback, armchair quarterbacks that in these groups that's always talking about motherfuckers transferring. We've seen recently Adam transferring a few times. Shout out to Adam. We've seen students just transferring, but they don't never really know what the real reason is. They think, because I ain't playing, which could be a reason. The coach he lied to me. Well, which could be a reason. You said, I heard you say, now all of those things could have been in that pot of gumbo, but what I heard you say was one of your main reasons for transferring is because your family wasn't there. You wanted to be with your family.
Yeah, and I wanted to, I understand, because even you want to get away, be able to be in college or whatever.
Absolutely.
But you want to feel like you're with the family, like even with my school or with my team or with your staff,
right? And
a lot of times this when the business thing come around, like. And speaking to a lot of young guys, like one thing about the college that I've learned is that it's tough when you aren't scratching their back. A lot of coaches, a lot of people are not gonna scratch yours when you're not able to.
I think that's the most,
and that's why
that shit is terrible, man. Like because they tell you all about this shit. One of the questions I was gonna ask, but I don't really want to get into that. I don't want you to have to whatever that. But it's like I feel like these coaches, they lie, and then when you find out or you feel like, well, hold on now, like not so much. I'm not calling you a liar, but I feel like you're not being all the way honest with you. So I want to make something different.
Me personally. Maybe it's because also I got somebody who was a coach, but he's not a college coach, so it's different. Like college coaches, it's a very tough job.
So you understood that lingo, some of the shit that you needed to read between the lines.
Like look. So this is somebody I'm not all against thinking like, okay, college is they lying, whatever. I take it all with a grain of salt. One thing that I learned during my recruitment process with a lot of schools who I felt like genuinely really wanted me, is that things change. At the moment, coaches might mean what they say. Maybe they might mean what they say. In that moment, they might mean what they say. They might not. It's a fine line. But what I feel like a lot of parents, a lot of kids don't understand is that things change over time. So in that moment, they thought, what happens if when they recruited you, they didn't lie. They genuinely thought you were the best, like you were our best option. We got X and X recruit coming in, and you are our number one priority. We see you playing. Right. What happens? Y'all all get on campus, and the dude who was the third recruit that just got there barely ended up being better than what they thought. What happened when it's like, somebody, one of the starters at this position that don't got nothing to do with you got hurt, and one of the other people we recruited is better fit for that. It's at the end of the day, these coaches are feeding themselves off these players and their production. It ain't even always personal. I'm just giving a different perspective.
That's a great perspective though.
It ain't always personal, and that's what I had to learn to take things with a grain. Some of them suck. No other. Some of them suck, and some of them suck. But sometimes, as a player, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and really look at what's happening
around you.
What's happening? Because some people be like, man, he ain't playing me. He don't like me or whatever. And it's like, are
you practicing good?
Are you playing well?
Right. Are you eating?
And
are
as
you
a
showing
player,
up to meetings on time?
All the little stuff that you don't think. Are you doing that? like, you know, as a basketball player, like, am I actually playing well? Like, am I just saying this when I'm at school and my parents ask, how you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing good.
That's it.
You know,
I'm good.
Like, but are you actually? Like, are you actually playing? Are you out playing someone? Which in college is so hard to do. Everybody is in a remote, close gap of talent. It's like your first option and your last person on the bench. At some schools, might not be that big of a difference. The opportunity is different. Maybe their experience level is different, but the talent gap between players in college ain't that big. You know, obviously you got your outliers.
Yeah.
You got your ones that like, all right, he different. Like, I actually can't do that.
Yeah, right.
But especially when we talking about at the low, the mid-major level in particular.
Right.
Most of the time, it's the little things that's going to really separate you. For sure. I'm telling you.
The effort, the waking up on time, getting to class on time, your practice habits, your eating habits, how you lifting.
All that.
You know what I'm saying? How are you receiving coaching?
How you in film. How you when receiving criticism. How you when things don't go your way. Like, how you when times get tough. How are you practicing when you didn't came off a 3-game stretch where you didn't play well? Like, when you playing like terrible and everybody kind of looking at you like, mind you in competition, so you know it's people that you're starting over that's like, man, I should be playing.
I should be playing. Like, I could do better than what you doing.
Right, like when that type of pressure on you and the coaches might be
listening to that shit.
They might be like, I don't know, maybe we need to go on the how can you respond to stuff like that?
That's important. Like, this is good information, bro.
Yeah, that's super important.
This is good information.
This the stuff that a lot of college players don't think about. They just think about what they gonna do on the court. They think about how it's gonna be when they playing, and their parents in the same, and everything good. Like, and it ain't always gravy like that.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
It's gonna get tough.
This is good information. Talk about your experience from Kyle when you played in the NCAA tournament. I know you didn't play as much, but like, just talk about that experience of the tournament.
It's something. It's like you talking about like being hooked on something.
It's a drug. It's a drug.
That's one of the reasons also in the back of my mind why I work hard.
You want that shit again?
I want it again. It was an unbelievable experience.
Was it?
It's unbelievable.
I remember watching I'm sure your dad was, but I'm sitting here admitting I was watching your story, bro, when y'all was down there. That shit just looked.
You don't even.
Y'all was in that little open area playing pool. I'm telling you, I remember that shit, cuz.
Man.
That experience, it just looked fun. I'm like, look, them niggas look like they having fun.
It's so that experience is surreal. We wasn't even able to get. We weren't even sleeping like that, man. Like, it was hard to. You had a schedule. You come in and you see the hotel. Mm-hmm. They got all that welcome. Such and such, this university, they got it all decked out. You see snacks, you see candies. Now you got to go do a little meet and greet. Now you got to sign. Now you got the little parade.
The media,
all the stuff that you don't. Man, and I know, and this is the thing, especially playing at the mid-major level, it's so hard to get to the tournament. Like, if you not,
y'all gotta win your conference.
You have to win your conference,
or you got to be selected. Most people aren't selected
at the mid-major level. It get tough. Like us at Toledo, we were right there on that cusp. Mm-hmm. So like, it's like one loss, 2 losses is to make or break. Yeah. It literally make or break. So we on that cusp, but we didn't make it. So winning that tournament is literally the only way you get there. So that experience, maybe like, you know, when you one of these big schools, you gonna get it at large, but you getting in every year, you get used to that. But
so you take that shit for granted. You could be 17 to 25 and you'll get in.
Yeah, exactly.
But y'all 25-1,
right?
And don't win the conference.
We barely got in.
Yeah, y'all barely got.
Man, we 25-1 and we the 15th seed. Like, you know what I'm saying? It get yeah. So it's a dope experience.
Recently, we talked about this before we came on. We've been having this up and down debate about the whole rankings thing, and you know, we had a conversation off air. What's your overall thoughts on this whole ranking thing? Whether it's prep hoops, whether it's Chicagoland preps, like, what are your thoughts on the ranking system? And let me add to this: how do you feel about people who are not basketball people ranking basketball players? This has become a fucking pet peeve for me.
Okay, so we're gonna start. How do I feel about the rankings in general? It's whatever. Rankings are whatever. I'm not gonna be one of the people like, oh, like rankings, they don't matter, which they, in the grand scheme of things, don't. But telling that to a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, or earlier than that, you know, whenever they start ranking is, you just might as well be talking to a wall. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, they go with their friends, they see it, and it's a competitive aspect. You like, man, like, I already think I'm that guy. Like, I think I'm good. So now you telling me that these people are supposed to be better than me? Right. Like, I already know it's like a weird thing, but it also prepare you for life too. In basketball, there's always going to be somebody who's supposed to be better than you. Right? That's life. At every level, it's supposed to be somebody who's supposed to be that guy that's going to be considered to be better than you, and having to play and deal with that. So with rankings, I'm gonna tell you, for these kids that's in high school in particular, it's such a marathon that, like, I'll tell you this now, it's people who was ranked early, like the first rankings that came out of my high school, they look so different than what they ended up being. Like, for me in particular, like I said, I asked my people, like, in terms of rankings, it was a gradual progression. Like, I started off at like being ranked like 60.
And you ended where?
3. Like by the same organization. Like prep hoops, I started off at 60 and I ended up being 3. Like, I ended up being 3. Now, like, what, like, I mean, is what at the time when I was a freshman, sophomore, was there 59 people better than me? I don't think so.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it's hard. Some people make those big jumps like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard for people to see everybody all the time, and I get that. But me, I wasn't there. I was somebody who I was constantly in people's face, though. Like, just because the best players are usually in the same area for the most part. So it's like, okay, a lot of people just did think I was that good, which is fine.
Which is perfectly fine. So to that last point, that is specific last point, which is kind of the reason why I started exposure runs. At the time, of course, they were saying all of these players, and these are great players, you know, the Day-Days and the Jay Griffs and all. Shout out to them. Shout out to their families. Like, I really love these kids. You know what I'm saying? And so instead of making it man, fuck that, these kids ain't, I was like, I'll just start my own platform. I have relationships with these kids because of Xavier and that basketball community. I'll invite them to an event and I'll see how good Zay really is.
Run it. Just run it.
Let's run it. Yeah, the only way you find out.
I wish you could have had some stuff like that. That would have been very cool.
I'd have had all of y'all out there.
Yeah, it would have been very cool.
I'd have had all of y'all out there. But that was the reason for that. And Zay went from, and another thing is, I always feel like, and I'll continue to feel like this, is that because we're not officially Illinoisans, I feel like that played a small part in that ranking thing with Xavier. This shit is over with now. There are other parents that talk to me or whatever, and they feel kind of the same way I do. But prior to our first run, Zay was unranked. We had that first run. He jumped into the top 50. I had another run. He jumped into the top 25 and then kind of fluctuated through, the top 25 throughout his basketball career. Because of his injury, he ended up at 50th and still only played 8 games and still made honorable mention conference, honorable mention all state.
By the way, he was wilding. He was wilding.
Zay was killing, bro.
He was wilding.
He was killing. He came 33 to Mount Carmel.
He was wilding.
That window.
I will tell you. I'm here. If anybody else not gonna give him, that's my little bro. Xavier was wilding early. I seen it. Yeah. And I was very proud. And I feel like I was telling him, like, at that time, that's what was gonna end up happening if he kept on that route.
I really wish he wouldn't have got hurt. But things happen for a reason.
For sure.
Things happen for a reason. He ended up with, in the moment, it seems to be a great school. The coach is fantastic. The staff seems to be fantastic. They lost a lot of upperclassmen. So injury or not, Zay's work ethic, his practice habits, his eating habits will determine how much he plays his freshman year.
Right.
Because there's time on that floor.
Oh, for sure.
There's time on that floor.
For sure.
All right. Who's on your playlist? Who's your favorite rapper? What you listen to?
Man, I listen to a little bit of everything. I got a very diverse playlist. Okay. I'll say it varies. I have a base, a foundation, and that's Chicago, my foundation.
Okay. Fair enough.
Listening to Herb.
Fair enough.
Listening to Dirt.
Fair enough.
I love Cowboy. Cowboy is one of my favorite underrated ones for sure. Okay. Polo G. I like all, like, the Chicago.
All right.
All the way. But then after that, it kind of go to what's really was the album that's out, the album that's popping too.
Okay.
One of my favorites. I love Gunna. Gunna album, he did it. He
really?
did it with that Gunna album.
He came back hard.
Did he?
That Gunna album was crazy.
I'm gonna throw it on. I'm gonna throw it on. I try to stay in the know. They keep me in the know. The boy Xavier has a fantastic music brain.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We went to the Grand Canyon one year, and where we stayed at, it was about a 2-hour drive to the Grand Canyon. Bro, he had that motherfucking truck rocking.
Yeah.
Me, Celeste, Ziggy, her mom, her sister. We was in that bitch. We felt like we was in the club.
Yeah.
He had us fucking rocking in there. So that's pretty dope. When you talk about your music, your playlist, right before you go out for a game, who you listening to?
Me personally,
who you warming up?
So I kind of got it, and I'll tell you, it's a small story. It kind of happened. So my senior year, we played at Chicago Elite Classic. Chicago Elite Classic, and that was like a real special game for me. It was one game I came and I really kind of set the tone for the rest of my senior year. And when with my dad, we just playing, and my dad, you know what I'm saying, him being a Christian man himself,
right.
He always got like gospel music playing, like just him being him.
Yeah.
Like, so we in there, we go get a little pregame workout. I'm hungry for some reason. Don't ask me why. I go to Chick-fil-A. We go to Chick-fil-A. We get some food, and then it was just some gospel music playing. And then I'm like, I felt like I was listening to it. I felt like I was in the zone.
Okay.
So then I went out that game, had a 30 ball.
Okay.
Missed one shot. Like, it was like 11-12.
Okay.
And before, I'm like, you know what? I'm about to just keep this going. So since then, I kept that going. So I kind of got 2 playlists. So I'll go. And like I like to meditate before games. I like to just clear my mind. Like, it helps.
No noise, no nothing.
Like I meditate. So during that time, I'll do that. And like while I'm in the locker room, I'll go, and this is probably like an hour or 2 before we start warming up. I got a little gospel playlist. I'll play it, calms me down, kind of keeps my mind right. And then when it's time to warm up, like right before the game, that's when I get my bangers going.
That turn up music.
It's go time.
Okay.
So now it's go time. So that's why.
What are your expectations headed into the new season?
Expectation is to first and foremost get to the tournament. I think I'm entering a season, a new season is trying to be weird. I'm one of the older ones in college now.
You're one of the leaders of that team. Ray J, he left. Yeah. Shout out to Ray J, great guy. I know
Shout out to Ray J. Dennis,
I know that. Yeah, I know that's your guy. Mm-hmm. But like, no disrespect to none of the other players on the team, but there's some lofty. I would imagine there's some lofty goals and expectations as an upperclassman, upper statesman. Mm-hmm. You know what the coach wants, and like you balled the fuck out last year, so expectations gonna be high for you
for sure, no doubt, and I think they are, but with that being said, I try not to really worry about all that with terms of expectations on me and what's supposed to be.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's just hoop, man. We balling. We just balling. So like me, I'm more worried about me. I'm more focused on the little things. Being a good leader, being a good leader, being able to lead these young guys. We got a super talented freshman group coming in, class of 5 or 6 freshmen, and we got to get them up to speed. They got to play. Like we lost 3 all-conference players, the player of the year, 2 other all-conference players. Mm-hmm. So we got 2 people who really played, 3 kind of, but Tyler Cochran, who also from Illinois,
right,
got hurt injured, so he didn't play a lot. But we got me and Raheem Moss, our other guard, and those are the only 2 who got genuine experience.
Right.
So these
young guys got to step up.
The young guys got to step up and play. So me just trying my hardest to be the same. They the same class as they in there. I tell my parents that all the time. It's because they are that class. It's the class of 2023 that's coming into.
Yep.
So that's 26 or 27.
27.
So that's the same class. So it's kind of that relationship with my guys.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just help when I can, because it's gonna be good days. It's gonna be tough days. But just also, you dealing with the coach. You know their tendencies. You know how they are. You know what ticks them.
Yeah. So you're trying to be proactive and don't do that. Don't blink your eyes that many times. Yeah.
Whatever. And then also one big thing is my coach is big on response. Like How are you? Like, okay, they gonna get it. You gonna mess up. Like, you gonna mess.
Yeah, you're going to mess up.
You're gonna mess up. Especially as a freshman. Yeah. You're gonna mess up. Right. You're gonna do it.
How do you?
And they hold everybody to the standard. You know, we didn't win 25 games the last 4 out of 5 years. Like, that's what we do. So, like, you coming in. We're not adjusting the standard, like, right? Just because y'all are young, you got to catch up to speed. Yeah. So, just trying to help, and as much as I can, but also making sure that not only do I lead by vocally lead by example, by my game, making sure that I'm working hard and they see my work ethic, and when it comes to practice, make sure I'm trying to play at the highest level I can, so they can see it. So there's no question on how I got to this point. You know, you don't want that. So that's really it for me.
What's your end game for college basketball? I mean, after you're done, are you ready to go to the workforce? Are you on a projected lottery board? Like, what's your end game for you? What do you want to do? My end game, one thing I'll say, bigger purpose, simple, small, like, nigga, like, I want to play and I want to make as much money as possible playing. Respect. Speaking of which, hold that thought, because I have wrote something up here. That NIL money looking real good. You got the Mike Epps earrings in, motherfucker. Like, I saw you got the yickities. I see that shit, cuz. And I teased Jeremiah about that shit too over at Michigan State. Okay, but go ahead. You want to make as much money as possible?
I want to make as much money playing and put myself in a position to have some residual, like, income. Okay. And I can go ahead and put on for my family and be able to be comfortable and with the game. Okay. You can do that with this game. You can. Easily. You can. Especially being a high level. But me being a dreamer, like, I plan on playing in the NBA. And I want to play in the National Basketball Association. And I really believe that it's possible.
Put that out there, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I believe it's possible. And I'm like I said, my dad always told me we gonna work as hard as I possibly can, and the end result we'll be able to live.
You can live with the end result.
I'll be able to do that. So
that's respect. Yeah. All right, let's get into these other questions. Who was your toughest player to guard in high school and in college?
High school, I done guarded everybody for the most part, and I'll say the toughest one for me, just simply because I had to guard him the most. And, hey, somebody do their research on Bloom and how them one-on-ones got with our team. Okay. It got tough. But for me personally, the most talented, naturally gifted basketball player I played with was Keyshawn Williams.
Keyshawn was tough.
I mean, you can't put your finger. You can't put your finger on it.
He did it with so much ease, cuz.
Listen, playing with him, I'll say this. For anybody who, I wish there was a way we can go back in time and see it. But if y'all saw the Keyshawn that played with Weinar in our 17U summer, and we played with Kevon Looney also on the gauntlet, that Keyshawn Williams was very special. Do something. I mean, it's so many, from summer league to Bloom. Story times like with Keyshawn, like where I watched him play, and it's a fun thing. I know he gonna laugh because I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell it because everybody in the gym, we all seen it. We all was there, and if you wasn't there, then you just missed out. Right. You just missed out. Right. We were summer league. You know how the summer leagues get at Hillcrest. Yes. So it's at Hillcrest. Right. It's early in the morning, and Keyshawn, I happened to just play AAU, and I happened to twist my ankle, so I wasn't playing. I was watching. And I believe it was Newby. I believe it's Donovan Newby. We playing. I don't remember who we were playing. Donovan Newby ended up throwing this boy a lob. This boy, he threw a bad pass, and it was a lot of traffic. I ain't gonna lie, Bloom, we was wild. Yeah, I saw you. We was highlights all day. Threw a bad pass. I'm like, there's no way he gonna get it. Hands all there. The boy then caught the ball off the lob, coming off the right side, and then reversed it, and then dunked on two people, reversing. And it was one of the wildest things to this day I've ever seen. And like just behind closed doors, he would do stuff like that a lot. Like I'll say in terms of guarding, because I got to see it night in, night out. And I know in mind you, last year Keyshawn was a monster.
Yeah, he was.
He was a monster before obviously he got hurt, in which I know he recovering and getting back, and I'm expecting him to be in that type shape.
Right.
He was on a tear too, and I think he was putting the world on notice with his talents.
Yeah, shout out to Keyshawn.
Yeah, shout out Keyshawn, man.
What about college? Who was your toughest player to guard in college?
Let me see. College. It was one on the West Coast who kind of played with the Warriors a little bit, who was good. Name of Corey McLaughlin, but I feel like I'm gonna say that this should be relatively easy now that I'm thinking about it. The best performance I've ever seen, like maybe period, was when Imani Bates played us.
Oh yes,
that happened.
Yes, and Imani he was perfect from the three, wasn't he?
He missed maybe two. Like he had 43. So
yeah, I remember that.
He had 29 straight, like for their team, and that was a crazy game. It was already because we in Toledo. Toledo borders Michigan. Like it's very close, and Ypsilanti, his hometown, is really close. So going into that day, people already was coming. I'm in class, doing my little due diligence in the classroom.
Right.
People already asking like, how you feel playing Imani? Because he got a big fan base.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so they were asking me. I'm like, man, I'm on another team. Right. I'm on our team. What you asking about him for?
Right.
But yeah, man, and it came out and that 29 piece was the first half was wild.
Dude, that shit was wild.
The crazy thing is we come in the locker room and like everybody just looking at each other like, what just happened? But we're winning.
I was about to say because
we was like, whoa, like, and the coach came in there was like, hey, like, why are we looking like we just lost? We up, like.
I was getting ready to say I thought the game was tied, but y'all were winning.
We were winning by up 1 or 2.
But he had 29 at halftime.
Whoa. It was like one of them things, like it just sucked like all that life out the gym. Even though we were winning, it was like, all right, we got to regroup, which we did. We came out and he still ended up having a great game the second half. But we went out there and we handled business.
Yeah,
so that was probably I'll say yeah.
Name one person who gave you buckets in high school.
In high school?
He was giving you the business.
I started off guarding him. I'll say this, and I don't think I ever told him this, honestly, because it was something that I ain't never was gonna bring up, honestly. But I'll say this: the one person who starting off, and it was a tough cover in high school. It was at Riverside Brookfield, and he ended up blowing up off this. And I seen it, and I'm like, damn.
Who was it?
Bryce Hopkins.
Oh, shout out to Bryce.
Bryce Hopkins, like, he's like, because I was like, okay, because we playing. I'm probably gonna guard like our best player, like whatever. He just crazy. Big, bro. Like, it was big. So then we switched it up, put Martins on him, but it was too late. He probably had like 30 and 50, something like that. We end up, and that's a game we should not have lost, but we did lose that game. That was somebody in high school who. That's one of the only times. There was no other time where anybody else like whatever, but Bryce. I started off in the game and he went to work. He went to work early. He went to that post. It was tough.
All right. To be fair, who was barbecue chicken? Who you give buckets to? Player and team.
I gave a lot of buckets out, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say like a team that like. I'm gonna just say a team.
Okay.
Because this is a team.
Okay.
I can't give it credit to one player.
Okay.
A team that I always fry, and I take pride in it. It make my people happy. HF always got the business. Always. My record. For obvious reasons. Mind you, Bloom and HF, it's a rivalry there and all that. Like, HF always got the business. My record against HF, I lost to HF one time my junior year in the playoffs. That was it. And even that game, I had like 25. Like, but
HF, the team.
My sophomore year, I gave them 35 as well.
Name your all-time NBA team. 5 starters, 1 6-man.
All time.
Hey, this is your list. They could be all time. It's your list.
All right, let's do it. We got Brian.
Okay.
At the 3. And MJ.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
Curry at the 1.
Okay.
Probably I'll say Shaq at the 5.
Okay. You need a 4.
I guess we gotta go for my team, and this I know we supposed to go Timmy, right? And I love Timmy Cole. Mm-hmm. But me, you know what I'm saying, I might be a little biased. I gotta lean towards KG.
I knew you was gonna say KG. I knew you were gonna say KG.
I love KG for a deep, like I love for a team. Like if I need an all-time team, why? I don't need Timmy. I need KG though. I need that defense. And then the sixth man. Damn, six man, it get tough because now you got to come off the bench. I got to really think. Maybe if I had to get six man, I need my six man to come off and just get buckets. Who crazy just get buckets? For my six man, I need somebody like Prime. I'm talking about Prime. If I could take Prime Tracy, I want Prime Tracy.
Okay.
I want Prime Tracy.
All right. Mine's is AI, Kobe, Jordan, LeBron, Hakeem.
Really, guys.
Of course. And then my sixth man is Jamal Crawford.
Yeah. If you would ask me my favorite player, D Rose would have been it. So I feel you.
Okay. All right. Last two questions. Number one. You know that I'm Muslim. In Islam, we believe our children pick us as parents. Hearing that, what does that mean, knowing that you picked your mother and father as your parents?
Man.
And just kind of speak about your family and how important they are to you.
All right. It just mean that, like, to one, and I'm lucky, blessed. Like, that mean that I found two people who are special individuals. Shout out to my mom, Dante Maddox. She really is a one of a kind type of woman in my eyes. Very special in all that she does. Working a lot, definitely not like a traditional stay at home or nothing like that. Like working out in the field, constantly busy, out a long periods of time, and then still coming home and being able to work up the energy to deal with me, my older sister, and my younger sister, and spend time with us when she could. Like, my mom's a superhero. She really is. Anything you need, super smart woman. She can help with the homework, whatever. No matter how busy her day was, she coming back and she gonna pour into her kids, like always. My pops, I think my opinion, my pops 1-on-1, man. Like, and I really, this coming from a place of somebody who I loved him to death, but I did not like him for a very long time. It was very hard. Like, he really is, like, he got one of the best hearts, like, as a person, like, and that's one of the qualities I want to take from him. He genuinely is a good dude, like, good dude. Somebody who got very strong-willed, strong discipline, and would literally give the clothes off his back for any one of his players, like. Never had to question. You can maybe as a player you can question, like, man, why your son not playing, not whatever. That's life, you know what I'm saying. But you never had to question it if he genuinely cared about your child. He always did the extra mile, always helped you in any way he could. Make sure you got home. Make sure you all that. So in terms of him, I think my dad is one of a kind in terms of a dad. And just as a mentor, I got tired. I'll tell you this. I got tired because my dad's a social worker. Okay. I got tired of being in the school because this is around the time where I really ain't like him. I ain't never tell him this either. I really didn't like. It was tough. Our relationship was tough, and it seemed like that was the time where people would come to me and be like, I love your dad so much. Students, whatever, be like, man, I love your dad so much. Your dad is such a special person. Talking to him has really changed my life. Like, we'll really say things like that, and it would help put things in perspective that I really got. As much as I don't like him, maybe because of some basketball, some X and O's, I got somebody who's not only there, who genuinely loves me and he'll do anything for me, like if it came down to it, like he really would. So shout out to my mom and my dad, man. I got them.
That's funny that you say that. I often wonder sometimes. Me and Xavier, we didn't have as much of a. I had that type of relationship with my dad, on basketball related, just the way he was raised. But like, I actually stopped coaching Xavier, and I don't even want to compare myself at all as far as coaching go. But I stopped coaching Xavier because I didn't want to, I had other opportunities to spoil our relationship. I didn't want coaching to be the whatever, but like, you just kind of talked about other people like coming up to you. Like Zay gets that a lot, and sometimes when he is having those moments of like, man, because we talk freely in our house. Like, I know Zay sometimes be like, man, my dad, he's such a fucking dickhead, and I tease him about that. Like, nah, I know you think I'm a dickhead, but it's like he gets the feedback about me and his mother about how we do things for people and us working in schools and people, we pour into them. And I know that it puts shit in perspective for him. Like, damn, like maybe I'm tripping. Maybe my dad ain't that bad of a man. He's still a dickhead.
And the crazy thing is, and when he just give it time, it's still early. Wait till he gets more into adulthood. And when he's at this spot where he's at the back end of his college career, and he's 21, 22 years old, he gonna have even more of a perspective on you. Really, like, I love my dad to death, and my dad love his dad to death. Like, and I see the same
relationship cycle.
Like, it really is that. It really is that, man.
All right, last question. I want you to send yourself a future message, talking third person. So when you start talking, I want you to say Dante, and then give yourself a message before you go.
Okay. All right. Dante Maddox Jr. I want to tell you first and foremost that I am super excited for what the future is holding for you, and I know that you have been through a lot when it comes to just life in general, and a lot behind the scenes that people won't know and won't ever know. But I want you to also know, I'm telling you this now, right now, that you are a special individual, and that your worth will never be determined by what you do with an orange ball. That your worth will never be determined by how you can produce for people who are not in your circle and not your family. And that, with that being said, with that orange ball, we still gonna go out there and bust a lot of people. So we gonna go and play this at a high level, and we'll talk about this, and we'll revisit this message at next year. So I'm excited for what's to come, and you deserve it. Yes, that's it,
man. Dante, bro, like I can't stress enough how much I really appreciate you. I really, people that really pour into my son, they have a special place in my heart. And from a very early age, like, you really took Zay under your wing. I mean, all of them shorties, all of them from your area, and just in general. So just as a father, like, let me tell you, as a father, that, and you probably do know this, and you've probably been told this, that your dad is extremely proud of you, and fathers alike are extremely proud of you. Like, you have blossomed into a phenomenal young man, bro.
Man, that mean the world to me.
Like, man, a phenomenal young man. Like, you are a great young man. Like, I don't even want to call you a kid, because you're a young man now, and I hope that every goodness that life has to offer, you squeeze every ounce of that shit out. Like, I'm talking about, wring that joint out until your hands is bleeding from the ring. Get every ounce of goodness out of life, because honestly, you deserve it. You come from great stock. Your father is you said it, he's a special young man. I've met your mom once or twice, and just seeing how, and hearing the stories from you and even from your dad, just y'all family is royalty in this basketball thing, in the basketball community. Y'all royalty, bro. And just know that people have watched and will continue to watch, and so please continue to, like, just put on that show of goodness, because you are a special kid yourself, man.
I appreciate you.
Definitely.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming up here, man. I feel like it's a little therapeutic for you too.
Yes, sir.
As you get ready to go back to school, man. And good luck in school, man. We're gonna be watching, bro. We're gonna be on that motherfucking TV, and I got a big ass TV too, cause and I be hype about my little ass TV. I hate when they want to watch my shit too. But anyway, all right, y'all. That's the end of the show. Shout out to my guy Bo Harris, of course, for AGM Plus, my producer over there, my partner, my brother. Like, this is my guy, man. Like, This shit just get better and better, cuz. Shout out to my guy Tyreek Booker from Numerex and Derek Ellison, who have been the catapulting. They were the catapult for exposure runs. So shout out to them. Shout out to Chi-Town Showcase, my guy Ryan Foran. We get ready to have the showcase October 28th. That shit gonna be popping. My DMs is going cuckoo. Them shits is going cuckoo. And real quick, let me say something about this Chi-Town Showcase shit real quick. I'm gonna pull a Teddy. I ain't gonna name the player. If I reach out to you about this showcase and you big time me, I'm not asking you again. You just gonna miss an opportunity, and it's okay. Listen, people. If I ask you and you don't want to come, it's okay to just say thank you, but no thank you. The only person that has ever told me that is Makai Cooper. I reached out to him one time about coming to a run, and he was like, Mood, thanks for inviting me, but no thank you. Okay. I'm okay with it. It's okay to say no. Like, I'll let you know. I told my partner today, because he keep bugging me to ask this one player, and I've asked him, and he hit me twice with the I'll see. I text him, the guy, my partner. I said, he got one more I'll see before I'm moving the fuck on. I'm like, the platform speaks for itself. It is what it is. And September the 8th, we got BBA Bailey Basketball Association. We got the young ladies coming down to Wintrust Arena. Shout out to them. Actually, I got to send over that stuff to my guy from SVI. And the sign is on the way, y'all. The new sign is on the way. It's on the fucking way. All right. We see y'all on the next episode.